When I think about the word honor, really highly respected. And in our world, a lot of practitioners are really worthy of that honor. And one of the things that I think about as in a way of honoring them is this whole idea of being able to honor them with the opportunity to rest, or at least create a margin for rest, at least helping them identify a margin for rest and creating space for them to be able then to actually be able to take a step back and be honored in just a little bit of a different way. It's not about the trophy or the award, but it's about them. It's about them being able to recalibrate themselves, to be rejuvenated, to be able to refuel. Is another great way of being able to honor our leaders in the city.
At Flourish, we're really exploring the idea of the rhythms of rest, the need for rest, honoring that in terms of the systems of the body, the systems of community. Like, even if you think of it in the kind of agrarian way we think of Flourish, there are seasons of growth and seasons of rest. For anything to continue to flourish, it needs both activity and rest. And so we just want to explore that idea, but in particular, focusing on a group of people that we think have been not able to access that as readily based on resources or just ability. So I think our premise is that often that is small local leaders of nonprofits or of businesses, those that are serving others, and then even more in particular, often leaders of color in those spaces don't have access to the types of resources needed to personally take rest, to implement that rhythm of rest, because the work never ends, the needs of the community don't end. I have felt really nervous watching a pattern of incredible leaders give to everyone around them. And instead of being kind of part of a garden, if you will, that flourishes, that gets to rest and contribute both, they have to almost sacrifice themselves as kind of the nutrients for that ground.
Black nonprofit leaders really struggle with this opportunity of rest. And when you think about it, they are working in their organization nonstop, 24 hours a day. A lot of them have multiple jobs just to keep up. So the importance of being able to understand what rest is and why it's important. We all have that viewpoint, we all think about it, but do we actually do it? And so for Black nonprofit organizations, it's important for them to realize, number one, you at some point you're going to run out of gas. Okay, it's like a car, you put fuel in it, at some point it's going to run out of gas, and then what are you going to do?
So in response to that recognition and to even some, community need that we recognized, one thing that Flourish did in response was initiate this kind of exploratory idea called Yarrow, centering on the idea of, are there people in the community that would not recognize their need for rest, or would recognize it but would lack resources? In a very non-programmatic way, we wanted to respond by seeing through relational connection those people that kind of fit those categories, testing the theory that if someone or a group of people can come alongside those needing rest and functionally work to make that happen, that we would see kind of longevity in the city and we'd see some additional flourishing.
So what we've been able to do with Yarrow is really create space and an opportunity to be able to help nonprofit leaders be able to establish a rhythm of rest. Part of that is helping them identify, number one, that they have the need. Number two, what are the sticking points of their organization of why they can't take a break or rest? And thirdly, then the opportunity to be able to actually do it. So what we found is when that happens, a person comes back, they're refueled, they're recalibrated, they're renewed. Now the possibility of being able to do it again, that door is wide open. Back to my analogy of filling up the gas tank. Now I know that when I get a little bit low, I can go and refuel and recharge. And guess what? That makes me become a better leader, a better practitioner within the organization in which I'm leading.
So in particular, and again, not just nonprofit leaders, this can happen in lots of spaces, but we recognize it's really high in nonprofit ministry leaders. The amount of vicarious trauma that is experienced is extensive. And often, leaders that we are supporting themselves are part of a community that's experiencing a lot of challenge. So if what is stressful for a community is lack of affordable housing or lack of structural community resources, many of the leaders we're supporting live in neighborhoods, so their personal family is experiencing that. But then in addition, all of those people they are helping bring their own story of that. There's just a level of all day, every day, feeling the weight of the need of everyone. We just want to challenge that culture that says that there's a different set of standards for people who choose to give of themselves and their time.
Without gas, the only thing I can give you is what I don't have. And so a lot of nonprofit leaders are working on empty. And so what REST will provide is an opportunity for them to refuel, to recalibrate, to really be able to think through their organization in a different way. Think about flying and going on a vacation, and you're 30,000 feet in the air. You see things from a different perspective. REST provides that opportunity for you to see the landscape differently, see your organization differently, your team differently. It also gives you an opportunity to connect with your family as well as yourself, emotionally, spiritually.
So I think, one way to recognize and honor someone is really as simple as saying, like, you were made in the image of God. And with that, very intentionally comes the understanding that you were made to rest and to contribute and to give. But along with that is the very intentional, I would say, recognition of rest in all places. And so honoring someone in their full humanity is saying, you are not just what you contribute, you are who you are, and you are a being, and that I believe that you deserve to be yourself as much as you deserve to do things for others.